broke a little bit of the psychological ice for Yates. As you can see, the total offense in the game, about 181 yards for Yates and only 57 for Permian. 3-1 right now in yards for Yates. Permian really doesn't have that many when you think about it, because those two passes right at the end of the first half got them 36 of those yards. So in the first 23 minutes of the first half, Permian only had a little over 20 yards in offense in the game. Permian absolutely must come out and drive the football. Whether they get points or not is another thing, but they must give themselves the feeling they can move the ball.
Okay, now let's talk about the other ball games. Goldthwaite over Runge, 24-7, and that ball game was played last night in Georgetown for the Class A title.
I think it should be Goldthwaite, but anyway, the folks, they won the title. They don't care what you call them now. Electra and Groveton tonight for the Class 2A. That's at UTA Field. In 3A, in the state of Texas today, Dangerfield and the Gobblers.
I'd love to see that football game. Cuero, we talked about him earlier. I believe Arthur Whittington, who was a star at SMU and went on to play professionally, was from Cuero. They have a good football tradition, and we all know what Dangerfield's got. This is their third consecutive year in the championship game.
And in the 4A, it has just started in Fort Worth at Amon Carter Stadium. Sweetwater and Tomball are scoreless at this point in the first quarter. And
we will try to get an update for you a little bit later in our telecast.
Two other football games going on today. You'll want a note on the Giants lead Pittsburgh 28-10 in the third quarter. If the Giants win, they host the NFC wild card game next week. And in the Cherry Bowl, Maryland is plastering Syracuse at the half.
The Lone Star
weights around 1980. Free weights, lifting weights. You know how they got them? Luther Booker in 1971, the head coach at Yates, talked the athletic department into letting them have a Coca-Cola machine, just a machine to sell Cokes down in the athletic area. For 10 years, he saved the pennies in profit from each Coca-Cola sales and bought his team a set of weights. This club has no practice field. Their practice field this year was taken away because they had to put the temporary buildings to simply teach the kids on the football field. He has 3 programs, freshman, junior varsity, and varsity, with almost 200 kids on them. They practice on the same field every afternoon, all 200 kids, all 3 teams. And when I say field, I mean field.
Maybe some others ought to follow suit. They're doing something right. Okay, here's today's officials. Marvin Cantor is the referee. By the way, they are out of the Austin chapter. The umpire, Dennis Bowerly. The head linesman, James Wilson. The line judge, Charles Akins. And the back judge, Mike Wetzel.
You bought your clothes from James Wilson, did you? Just wondering.
You know, quickly, we should say something about the Mojo tradition. We've gotten a glimpse of the Mojo banners 2 or 3 times in the first half. There are many stories about the origin of Mojo. There's a good shot. Now, I've gotten at least 7 or 8 stories about the origin of Mojo. At least 4 or 5 I can't repeat. And the others wouldn't make a whole lot of sense anyway. But somewhere back there, about 20 years ago, somebody came up with this, and basically the interpretation is it has something to do with mystical power.
Well, if you look at their record, they've got something. It may not be mystical power, but they've got something.
Well, they'll have to draw on it here in the second half, trailing 9-0.
It is very important. Very important. Odessa takes this opening kickoff and moves it, flipping that coin over. If Yates can kick off, stop Odessa, and get the ball back, momentum continues in their favor. It was running their way to end the half.
Anderson takes the ball at the 2-yard line, back to the 10, up to the 15, 20, and Anderson is tripped up at the 25, or he might have gotten a lot more out of the kickoff return. Last week against Cy-Fair, Permian came out to start the second half, and they put together a beautiful drive to get back in that football game. And as we said earlier, they've scored a lot of points in the third quarter this year, and the telling story, I think, is going to be here in the next 7 or 8 minutes.
The telling player may be Anderson. He got loose for a couple of catches at the end of the first half. Don't be surprised if immediately Permian throws the ball trying to find Anderson again.
Jason Harrington, the quarterback, as they shift the tight end to the near side. And they will run it. Bryant cannot get outside. They have not been able to do that all afternoon. Quick pursuing linemen and linebackers. Number 66, Marvin Foster, the 220-pound senior who brushed off the block by Scott Russell, and they bring down Bryant for no gain.
Here is Melvin Foster, 220 pounds, an all-stater, tremendous range and speed, runs a 4.740, started as a sophomore against Converse Judson in that wonderful playoff game, rated by the Fort Worth Star-Telegram one of the 10 best players in the state.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Harrington, play action fake. He's looking for Lauterbach. Now sees Anderson over the middle. The pass is intercepted, then dropped. Now I believe that Yates will get possession of the ball. Yes, he had it long enough, then it fell out of his hands, and Foster came up with it. And it will be Yates football at the 45-yard line. As Harrington threw into heavy traffic, there were nothing but red shirts there, and the Lions have got a great opportunity here.
Odessa going to the sprint out to try to relieve the pressure a little bit. Sprinting Harrington toward the sideline to buy a little time. Good cup blocking, and Harrington, who was the receiver, Anderson, was banged around a little bit. Foster intercepted it, turned to run upfield, and then dropped it. And here come the Lions. And
the throw is incomplete, intended for Lawrence King, coming out of the backfield over the middle, as the Yates Lions are going for the kill here early in the third quarter.
Your Yates offensive lineup: Price, Bailey, King, Smith, Lampkins, and the touchdown scorer Zeno Anderson in the offensive line. They've got a Moon in the middle. Good tackles and good, quick, pretty big guards for high school, both over 200.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Bailey and King, the setbacks. Again, is to Bailey. He's to the 41-yard line. Gains about 4 on the play. Patrick Wilson making the tackle for the Permian defense. Here is a look at the defense for Permian.
Ray Brown starting in place of Louis Salcido, who has a back problem in the line for Permian. The linebacker Cervantes is the best, good, quick people on the outside of the defensive secondary, heightened by the presence of Robert Williams.
Some pressure on the Permian defense. Third down. Price wings it out. Nice diving catch by Alexander for a first down at the 29-yard line. Oh, my.
That's the tight end. But it's the tight end split out here. They had the tight end away from the line. Now, again, remember the adjustment on the touchdown pass? Watch the adjustment here. A ball thrown behind him, and Alexander makes another acrobatic play.
He's done that before, hasn't he? Caught a lot of those on the playground. 10:16 to go, third quarter. Here comes Bailey, 20. Bailey to the 15. And the Yates Lions are picking up big chunks of yardage. Darren Allman, the safety man, probably saving a touchdown there with a stop on Bailey, but it's another first down.
What haven't we seen from Yates today? Turnovers.
I can't think of anything except mistakes.
No 15-yard penalties. No fumbles lost. No interceptions. No bad snaps.
The closest thing to mistakes would have been the incomplete passes there in the first half. But they've corrected that too. Here comes Bailey, and he will score. He high steps his way into the end zone for the touchdown. It's a 14-yard run by Johnny Bailey. 0, and we will take a break. And we will return with more of the 1985 5A championship from Texas Stadium after these words. Yardage.
He is now over 100 yards for the day. 11 carries, 106 yards. 1, 2, 3 missed tackles, 4 missed tackles. That's not a Permian type of tackling situation. Again, good runners will cause good tacklers to miss.
So with 9:54 to go in the third period, Permian really has its back to the wall now. As Smith kicks off, line drive, and it is fumbled by Lauterbach. He picks it up at the 6, and he comes to the near side, out of bounds at the 16-yard line. So as has been the case all afternoon, Permian has just no field position at all to work with. Reginald Briggs made the tackle over there on Lauterbach, who will stay in the game at the wingback position.
What usually gives you field position is the other team's mistakes. Yates has not made any mistakes. They have not punted badly, fumbled the ball, turned it over. They've done a marvelous job of sealing Permian back in their territory. Permian has not started a drive